toxic partisanship, left versus right, us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. Larry Sharp here, host of The Sharp Way Show, here on WYSL Rochester, WENY, Elmira Corning, The Patriot, WACK in Newark, New York. That is the cool Newark. So happy to be here on A Free Solution. Reach out to me, 585-346-3000. Well, today I want to talk about school. I do. In New York City, where I live, we're opening up high schools. Look at that. Lucky us. Our lords and masters, King Andrew Cuomo II, all hail the king, and Baron de Blasio, my local monarch, they're deciding when we can go to school or not. Good for us, I guess, right? In reality, yes, I'm happy that they're opening up schools. I am. The issue that we have here with opening up schools, whether here in New York or in your local community, whatever the case may be, is no one has said the most important thing, and that is schools are not super spreaders. They're not. No one is saying they are. They never were. As a general rule, there are exceptions. Children don't really get the virus as bad as anyone else. They don't spread it as much as anyone else. They don't have symptoms. They don't die. They don't have, it doesn't affect them as bad as adults. It's a fact. So you might say, but Larry, that's great. Good for the kids. What about the teachers, right? It might get them. I hear that. Absolutely. And if you're a teacher who is under 50 and don't have a pre-existing condition, it's probably not going to affect you either. But even if it does, it might. It's possible. We've proven that with the right distancing, with the right activities, that even a teacher doesn't get it. These are not super spreader events. When are they going to actually say that? They're not. They're not going to say that for two reasons. Number one, then they look like fools for closing down the schools. And what has hurt more people than anyone wants to mention is the shutting down of schools. The crash that happened in 2008 heavily hit men. It hit women too, don't get me wrong. It absolutely hit women also. But percentage, it hit men a whole lot worse. This one has hit women a whole lot worse. And one of the biggest reasons is kids staying home from school. Shutting the schools down forced many women, percentage-wise compared to men, stay home. They're like, I'm staying home. I can't send my kid to school. The mom's going to be the teacher. The mom's going to be the stay-at-home. Still in our country, without question, women are far more likely to be a primary child care provider. Far more likely. Not even close. It's like 4-1. It's insane. It's affected them. So we can't say that. But it's a second reason. Unions. And sadly, not unions with an S. There's almost always only one teachers union in any given area. Almost always. So it's union. That's what makes it even worse. So the union goes, I'm not sending my teachers to school, so they don't go to school. What if you want to go to school? What if you're a teacher who wants to go to school? The politics of this drives me crazy because we're not looking at the damage that is being done. What we should have done is look at the data and realize that the elderly are being affected more than anybody else. Why are we shutting down schools? Why don't we just, as I said a year ago, put in protocols at schools and let teachers who want to go to school go, and let kids who want to go to school go, and let parents who want to homeschool, allow people to decide. A lot of parents would have said, I'm not worried about COVID. I'm young, I'm healthy, my kids are young and healthy. I'm going to send my kid to school and I'm going to go off to work. Parents would have said that. Some parents wouldn't have. They said, no, I got grandma at home. I don't want to send my kid to school. That's fine. People should do what they think is effective for their individual people, their family members, people who they love. So, okay, how do we deal with this issue? As I said, what we should have done off the bat is just been honest with the American people, honest with New Yorkers, allowed parents to make savvy, smart choices. Look, parents run the PTA. Come up with the right answers within your school district to protect your kids and to protect your teachers. But something else, if you're a 30-something healthy teacher, you're probably not concerned. But what if you're a 60-something teacher with a pre-existing condition? You may be worried, and you probably should be. That's probably smart. I like that. You should be worried about that. So how does your union help you? This goes back to the thing that people talk about all the time. Larry, unions are bad. Private sector unions are bad. I'm not anti-union. I never have been anti-union. Never. Unions are the First Amendment. They are freedom of speech along with freedom of association. If you want a collective bargain, you should be able to. My problem isn't that. My problem is what I'm always against. Monopoly, particularly government-sponsored monopoly, which is almost every monopoly. There's some exceptions, but almost always it's a government-sponsored monopoly. Unions are monopolies. There's always one union, and you don't have a choice whether to join or not. Now, with the Janus decision, that's changed. So shouldn't this be the perfect time for us to break our unions up into multiple unions to allow people to do what they want with their own union? But Larry, then we'll have different agreements for different teachers. So maybe, and in this case specifically, if you're a teacher who is concerned about healthcare, maybe you'd be in a different union, and that union would negotiate a different deal for you. And maybe if you're not concerned and you want to go out and do whatever you want to do, then maybe you're in a different union. Maybe your union dues are higher or lower, or different insurance, or different anything, because you have different needs. This is the exact time to stop with monopolies of unions. Instead, allow multiple unions. Encourage multiple unions that might be based upon your age. You decide. I mean, they wouldn't decide that, but they would have different benefits and advantages that someone who's older may want. Or maybe it's based upon the type of school you're in. Maybe elementary school teachers, need a different union than high school teachers. I don't know. And I don't care. I'm not a teacher. You're supposed to know, teachers, and you'll decide which union fits you. And if some union is incompetent or bad, you won't join that union. You'll join another union. Or you decide I don't want a union because you think you're super cool and you can negotiate your salary and your benefits on your own. Good on you. And if you mess it up, join a union. If you don't mess it up, the union can copy you. Whatever. This is how we get better. This is how we get out of this bad situation, to where politics and unions decide whether our schools are open or not. Whether politics and unions, who are tied together now, and they shouldn't be, decide whether women go back to work or not, because they do decide that culturally. Monopoly, if you ask anybody, is bad. I'd agree. I think monopoly is bad. So why do we accept monopoly in government? Then why do we accept monopoly in unions? I would love to see multiple unions and people who are free agents who decide I'm smarter, better, or whatever than my union. Okay. If you are, unions must get better, or they'll lose people like you, or they'll have to be a specialized union for you, or they'll lose people like you. That's the point. The unions can spend more of their time dealing with assisting, helping, supporting the 90% of the good apples. I made that number up as the 90-10 rule. But right now, if you're part of a union, you know this is true, what I'm about to tell you. The vast majority of unions spend 90% of the time with 10% of their bad apples. How are you getting serviced? How are you getting serviced? You're not, or poorly. But imagine if there wasn't just one monopoly of unions, multiple, or you could be a free agent. Imagine if that was the world. But Larry, I'm scared. I don't want to be on my own. Your union's still there. Larry, I hate unions. Then be on your own. Better unions, better service. We could grow, and we don't punish our women in our society. Yes, I just gave you another free market solution. See? Name of the show, Larry Sharp, a free solution, 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
When you've been seriously injured in a car crash, you need a lawyer who knows how to beat the big insurance companies. Call me and I'll take them on so you can focus on your health and family.
Car crash, call Salino. Salino, call Salino. 888-2020.
Main Street, Rochester.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
It is Larry Sharp back here on A Free Solution. WYSL in Rochester, New York. WENY, Elmira, Corning, the Patriot. WACK in Newark, New York. 585-346-3000. Before the break, I was talking about the crash. that happened in 2008, 2009, and the crash that is happening now. We're still in the crash now. And how it affected men versus women, and how this was a chance for us to make a change. So I want to grab a couple of comments and deal with those from the interwebs. Ed says, I was in Iraq for the 2008 crash. I'm oblivious to the repercussions. What was going on here during that? How is it similar or different to now? Well, the difference in that crash was it wasn't directly government caused. It was government caused, but not directly. In other words, in this one, the government said, economy stop, and it stopped. That one, it was a financial crash that stopped the economy, which means people were losing their jobs, not because government said don't work, but because the money began to dry up. So it was a debt bubble, a real estate bubble, and people couldn't pay their bills, couldn't pay their debts. Debts became due all of a sudden, and lots of people began to lose their jobs, lose their credit, have to pay debt they couldn't pay, lose their houses, lose their mortgages, etc. That's what began to happen there. Now that was more in the male than female world. And one of the reasons is it heavily devastated the financial institution, which at that point it still is majority men, but it was heavily just dominated by men by 2008, 2009. So that was the industries that were hit. Commercial real estate was also dominated by men. Residential real estate is dominated more by women, but commercial has always been dominated more by men. It's still, I think, majority, but not as much dominated. There are more women now in finance than there were 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and more women in commercial real estate than then. But so those are the reasons why it heavily hit men more than women. Again, I want to be clear. Women got their butt kicked also in 2009, 2008. I'm saying by percentage. Here in this one, women by percentage are getting their butt kicked more than men here because this is a government shutdown of the school system. It's a different crash, both caused by government, one directly, one indirectly. The first one was indirectly. This one is directly. I hope that was clear. So once the recovery didn't come easily last time, it won't come easily now either. Recoveries don't come easily. So thank you for that question, Ed. I hope I answered it. Yes. Craig says, time to reopen re-education. Wrong think is rampant. Look at this. Craig's not just saying it's time to think about making unions better. He's saying it's time to make the schools better. I'm with you. I also see the Fed is getting involved with their own social credit scores. Make them think the way we're supposed to. Yeah, this piece is an interesting piece, Craig. People ask me on one of my other shows, what about what the Bank of Japan is doing? Why would I bring up the Bank of Japan? Because in Japan, the Japanese culture is much more open to and okay with their central bank being detailed, grossly involved in private business and buying up stuff and controlling the economy. The Japanese people seem okay with that. So if their, national bank decides to buy a car company or something, they're like, whatever, they do that. It's fine. We have in the past been against that, and at least openly against it, right? Oh, we don't want the Fed doing this. The Fed should stay separate, that kind of thing. Since the 2008 crash, we've opened up. And this crash, we are like, whatever. You're totally right, Craig. The Fed is going to come up with whatever it wants, however it wants, get involved in any way it wants, because save us. Remember something. It is rare that the government just takes our rights. They did this time, and that's rare. Usually, we vote our rights away eagerly, or we give them away eagerly, begging for safety. But we've been doing that for so long, just giving our rights away, voting them away or giving them away. Please save us, government. That now the government's become so bold. Now they just take them because they figure we won't argue. We won't fight. And sadly, Craig, They're right. We don't. They just take them and we go, okay, we're safe now, right? Okay, keep taking them. I'm sure you'll give them back eventually. I trust you. Just keep me safe. And this is the same thing. The Fed is now taking more power and people are doing nothing because, well, that's how they're going to get our economy back. And I talked about women being hurt and stay-at-home moms, homemakers. So I was watching CNN was it yesterday? Yesterday afternoon. And they were talking about this problem that, women have to stay home with their family and blah, blah, blah. How are we going to help them? What are we going to do? And opening up the schools wasn't the answer. The answer that everyone talked about was just write them a check. Write them a check. There's a problem? Write them a check. There's a problem over there. Write a check. Problem over there? Write them a check. Problem over there? Write them a check. Let's just get a checkbook out. That'll solve all our problems. And sadly, there wasn't even a thought of opening schools, supporting homeschool, supporting private schools. I mean, think about this. If you're a mom and you have a couple of kids and you're literally at home teaching your kids now, right? Because you can't send them to school. Imagine if the government, instead of writing you a check, would encourage you to open up your own school/tutoring center instead. And the other moms who are stuck in your neighborhood, who can't go to school, the government would say, hey, why don't you become a tutoring center? No sales tax. Open up a business right now, and we'll hook you up. Go, do it. We'll have the schools coordinate with you so that you can tutor like 10 kids, whatever is the number appropriate. I made that number up, obviously. And then the school can help to get you the grades you need to get. And before you know it, you have a little tutoring center. You get to make your own money. And the other moms who don't want to be home, who would rather work, can go work. And then guess what? The women who want to work can go work. And the women who want to stay home can stay home. Oh my God. Free choice. No monopoly. People, Americans, New Yorkers, women doing what they want to do. I'm not saying women shouldn't stay home and teach their kids. Women should do what they want to do. If you want to stay home and teach your kids, you should. If you want to go to work, you should. So why doesn't the government support this? Here's what I'm sure of. There are women who would rather stay home and teach kids than go to work. And there are women who'd rather go to work. Home run. We don't do that. Write them a check. That's the answer. Remember, government is not good at helping, which makes you better. Government is good at servicing, which keeps you in your place so they can keep servicing you. That's what government does well. Keeping you in that place. Servicing you, servicing you. Thank you, Craig. I went a little off topic, but you kind of got me out. So it's your fault. I'll blame you. So yes. Let's see if I can keep going here. Derek says, if you ever want to flee New York, please come to Missouri. I appreciate that. I actually have some friends in Missouri, but I'm still here right now. I'm still here. Yes. All right. Robert says, I think it's time for these kids to go back to school. It's been too long. These teachers' unions are getting out of hand. I agree with you. And I am not someone who is anti-union, as I mentioned. The way you handle the unions is to create an environment where there can be multiple unions. I am also sure that there are many teachers who like their union. Awesome. Stay in it. And I know for sure there are many who actually hate it. And if you hate your union, you should have another one that you would prefer to be in. And if you don't want any union, you should be able to not have that too. Yeah, I know. Every single answer that I have for every problem somehow is about encouraging the individual to be free and happy. Nuts, right? It's not about writing checks or forcing people. The solution is always a free one. A free solution here on WYSL Radio. Larry Sharp, back after the break.
God bless America.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Partly cloudy skies. We'll drop back into the 30s to near 40. Not a bad night out there. On Wednesday, we get that more noticeable warm up. I think a lot of us jump into the 60s for a high with sun and some clouds in the afternoon. 60s once again on Thursday, but clouds went out. Eventually, rain showers arrive Thursday afternoon. I'm Rich Cadelia, WYSL.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
While the number of U.S. births fall, abortions rise. Is there a connection? A recent report from the CDC shows births decreased by 1% in 2019. This represents the 5th straight year of decline. The total fertility rate, the average number of births per woman of childbearing age, is down 1% too. The current fertility rate is at 1.7 and has consistently fallen since 2007. In order for the next generation to replace the previous one, the fertility rate needs to be at 2.1 or higher. Meanwhile, CDC surveillance also confirms increases of abortion in a majority of the states in 2018. HHS statistics show increases by as much as 5% in states like Texas in 2019. New York is beginning to see similar trends in its recent vital statistics. What happens to a society that refuses to bear children? This RealAbortionNews.com update is sponsored by Compass Care.
WYSL.
Camp Good Days is once again, with the help of Vanderstein Toyota and Toyota USA, hosting a car raffle. Tickets are 1 for $20, 3 for $50. If you win, you receive a brand new 2021 Toyota Corolla SE. All the proceeds from the car raffle benefit the children and families of Camp Good Days. The winning ticket will be pulled on April 15th, 2021. Get your tickets now by calling the Camp Good Days office at 585-624-5555 or by visiting campgooddays.org.
An experienced professional with more than 15 years in dentistry, Dr. David Olivo welcomes new patients to his family practice at 2005 Lyle Avenue. At the office of Dr. Olivo, you'll discover a warm and comforting environment staffed by professionals who are committed to providing the best available dental care while assuring your complete comfort. Call 328-3382 for an appointment. Dr. David Olivo, offering quality dentistry with a gentle touch.
Searching for a school with 5-day-a-week in-person instruction for students in grades pre-K through 12 that doesn't compromise your traditional values? Archangel School is the answer. With small class sizes and affordable tuition, your child will receive an education that's Common Core free, academically challenging, authentically Catholic, and faithfully patriotic. Come to Archangel School's open house Friday, March 12th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. or schedule a private tour at archangelschool.com or call 585-247-1112.
As the word tells us that all things are to be done decently and in order, we all have a desire to be more organized. Get Organized has been helping their clients effectively organize their living spaces with custom closets, pantries, garage storage systems, and more for over 30 years. Get Organized can be reached online at www.closetsrochester.com or by phone at 585-223-3333. 3646. Get organized with closetsrochester.com today.
Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten-Free Bakery offers a great selection of specialty pizzas, including dill pickle. With fresh dill pickles made in Avon, regular and gluten-free, call 226-9575. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten-Free Bakery.
A free solution.
Larry Sharp back here on A Free Solution. WYSL, Rochester, New York. WENY, Elmira, Corning, The Patriot. WACK in Newark, New York. 585-346-3000 is the number. Guys, follow us. This show is not just on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but it's got all kind of cool people on it. It's on noon, Monday through Friday. So follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, so you can listen every day at noon or 3 or whenever it's syndicated. Of course, please do that. I ended the last segment talking about people choosing to go to work, choosing to stay home, whatever the case may be. And of course, you know, that's what I always say. That's what I'm always talking about. People should be doing what they feel is best. The problem that we have also, particularly from this last crash or this last government lockdown, is the idea of who is essential. Is that mom who's teaching her kids essential? Is the mom who is teaching someone else's kids so they can go to work more essential, less essential? Is the person who has to go off to work to pay for the mom to stay home and teach the kids essential? And what I would say is no one gets to decide that except you. If you think you're not essential, I guess you aren't because you've said so. But unless you say so, I think you're probably pretty essential. Someone's counting on you somewhere for something, which means to somebody, maybe you or someone you love or care about, you're essential. But the worst part of this, and there are many bad parts to this, many bad layers to this, is not only does government decide who is essential, but who became essential? Oh, government workers. Yeah, it's surprising that when government has to decide who's essential, all the people who are essential are government workers. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Think about who they list. Who's essential? Police, court officers, hospital personnel, teachers, government workers, all government workers. Those are the essential personnel, number one. And now the money came in. Uncle Joe writing this check. We're getting 12 billion Biden bucks coming to New York. Yes, 12 billion Biden bucks coming to New York. Who's going to decide where that money goes? Well, His Majesty, King Andrew Cuomo II, O Hail the King. And he's concerned, seriously concerned about funding state and local governments. I'm not joking. That's a big deal for him. And you might say, Larry, come on, that makes sense. You got to make sure the government works so we can work. Okay. I get where you're going with that. I do. I'm not saying we shouldn't have a functioning government to provide basic services. I'm not saying that at all. But how does that functioning government get paid now? Usually through taxes. How do you raise taxes? Through commerce, through people working. So why in the world would you want to give money directly to the government? If you're going to give money, if I'm going to write checks, and that's the answer for government always, why am I not just giving checks to the people so they can create commerce, which would create taxes, which should fund the government? This is like saying the grocery stores are suffering, so let's give grocery stores money. Why would you give grocery stores money? Why wouldn't you give the people in the community money so they can buy the groceries and the grocery store makes money? I don't get that. This is what they're doing. They're like, no. The grocery stores are suffering, so we got to give them money so they can stop suffering. Or you could give the people money so they can buy the groceries. That would also work. So of all these packages, of all this cash coming out, if you're going to write a check, if you're going to bail anybody out, and we're going to bail people out, that's going to happen, why aren't we literally finding ways to bail out that mom that we talked about? Why aren't we making ways for her to make money and make commerce so that she can buy those groceries, so the grocery store owner can make money, and so she can feed her family, and so the woman who owns the grocery store can pay her taxes? So when she pays her taxes, we can fund the government. This really isn't rocket science. You're saying, Larry, are you the smartest guy in the world? No, I'm the handsomest guy in the world, not the smartest. So other people could figure this out, but they don't. They don't because it doesn't make sense for them to. It's not how they think. It's not who they are. And they can't keep you beholden. And that's the issue. I'll give a quick comment. Gene says, I drive a school bus. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. I had a different one, Gene. You made another one. I got to get the right one from you, Gene. I'm sorry. Gene mentions, hold on. She had a good one here. I remember I saw it. Here we go. She says, writing a check keeps people dependent upon the government. Yes, she's right. And that's the point I wanted to bring up. There are many ways to move people forward. Writing them a check is a nice temporary thing. Look, if you give me a check, I'm happy. I'm going to spend it. Great. But that isn't the right answer. The answer is make it to where people can fish, right? I don't want to give a person the fish. I want to allow them to fish. In the case of us, you don't even have to teach us to fish. We know how to fish. Just let us fish and we'll be fine. We'll feed ourselves. We're really okay. It drives me absolutely crazy. Brian says, we have become so, I think, compliant that a guy stood in front of a building raising his arms at anyone entering. They willingly raised their arms while he ran a lint roller on them. They didn't even question it. Wow. Is that true, Brian? Are you making that up? Are you messing with me? Are you saying there's a guy in front of a building who is lint brushing people and they're voluntarily getting lint brushed? So they're voluntarily getting harassed. Okay. Maybe our governor should be hanging out there. At least he won't get in trouble if he does that one. So yes. Wow. I'm shocked at that. Gene says, when I went to college to become a teacher, I learned that the teachers union was the most powerful union in the country. One aspect of No Child Left Behind was that teachers could be fired despite the power of their union. I guess that's okay. I'm not a big fan, clearly, of centralized control of No Child Left Behind. But your point's a valid one. You have to basically have a federal law to fire teachers. That shouldn't be the way it is. You should have multiple unions with people who don't want to join a union. And you might go, but then Larry, how are we going to collective bargain? Because you're going to have a better union that teachers want to be a part of. I actually don't mind at all teachers having power, teachers being able to collectively bargain or strike and shut down a school. I actually don't mind that at all. I mind the fact that they have no choice and that some teachers may not want to. If a school's that bad, teachers are like, we're not showing up. Good. Make a change. You're humans. You have every right to say, I'm not working here. But not because your union bosses command you. That's my problem. Not because your union bosses command you. That's really the issue. So Ricardo says, good afternoon, Larry. Are you going to run for president in the future? And if you are, would abolishing the ATF be part of your goals? The ATF has too much power and no restrictions. Wow, that's an off-topic question, but I will take any of them, as I always do. The odds of me running for president in 2024 are slim. It is possible, but very slim. I would not count on it if I were you. I would not bet on it. I would not think it's going to happen. The reason being, To run for president is a massive endeavor. I would have to be super popular. I'm not that popular as much as I'd like to be. If I became super popular by 2028, maybe the door would be open then. But it really depends on how popular I become. Popularity is a critical part of running for national office. I just don't have it. The ATF, when you begin to change rules and laws on tobacco and firearms and alcohol, which I would, the ATF would become irrelevant. So by default, I wouldn't be abolishing anything. I would change the environment into where they are irrelevant because I want people to have better choices over what they're doing. I hope that's clearer. Straight up abolishment? No. Change the environment to where they become irrelevant? Yes. That's how I would handle that. So thank you guys. I appreciate that. Yes, always about choice. I wear my libertarianism on my sleeve. Taking every question. Doesn't matter what it is. Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, "He is my refuge and my fortress, for he will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease."
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
A free solution.
Larry Sharp, back on A Free Solution. Thank you for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. You can follow me not just here on A Free Solution, but also on the Sharp Way if you like. Follow me on Facebook or YouTube or all the interweb things. All of them. I'm on everything. Just Google Larry Sharp and follow something. I appreciate it. Here on WYSL, Rochester, WENY, Elmira Corning, WACK in Newark, New York. I appreciate you giving me a couple chunks of your afternoon. I know I mentioned, and I keep mentioning, the idea that giving people more choices, giving people more options, breaking the idea of monopoly is generally a good idea. It's a better way of doing things. And I put this forward last year in March. For those of you who care, you can head over to the Sharp Way YouTube page. At the bottom is a playlist that says COVID-19 response, March 2020. And it's 10 videos there. And I expressed exactly what we should have done a year ago for the COVID-19 response in New York State and the country, and even how to pay for it. All of it. And people thought, wow, that's crazy. That's nuts. But if you watch it now, you'll go, oh my God, that guy was right. How could I have been right a year ago? How could I have been right? How's that possible? How would I have known what was going to happen? Well, I didn't know what was going to happen. I don't have to know what was going to happen. I know what humans do. I know how people work. I know how processes work. Whatever we would have tried in March, within 3 months, and again, if I was the governor, I would have started this in last January. So by the time April came, we'd have had actual policies, actual protocols that would have worked in every one of our separate, distinct, and diverse counties in this state. Brooklyn would not have been Wyoming County. Brooklyn's not Wyoming County, should not be. They are different, both valuable and important. And the people who live in both counties love living in those counties. And they should be able to have the right answers and protocols for their counties. That would have already happened. By last summer, we'd been set. The idea of us having a terrible, relapse during the fall wouldn't have happened. Would it have gone up? It would have, of course, but nowhere near as bad. We would have had the flare-ups that happened in places like Florida and Texas, and not the devastation that we had in New York and California. We would have found the right answers, because the idea of freedom is always the right answer. It always works better. Let me grab a couple more comments if I could. I appreciate all of the comments here. Sam says, the odd balance of having a union, tenure prevent political firings. Oh, tenure, yes. Conservative teachers hated it because it protected woke teachers. Now it protects conservatives and wokes when removed. Oh, okay. I was confused. Look, I get the idea of tenure. I do. And I don't mind if you negotiate that again. I think you want to protect conservative teachers and woke teachers. You should protect them both. I'm not against woke teachers. I'm not against conservative teachers. I just want kids to learn. I would like local people to make better decisions on how they want their kids taught. And I know the answer, but Larry, we don't know what they're going to teach, and we don't know now. Local is better. It's not perfect. It isn't, but it's better. And that's the most important piece. You don't want to measure any plan against perfection. It will always lose. But if you measure it against status quo, what's happening now? Is it worse than now? Don't do it. Is there a big chance it'll be worse than now? Don't do it. But is it a really good chance it's going to be better than now? Why wouldn't we try it? As long as it's not hurting anybody, let's give it a shot. My plan from last year, people thought was crazy. If we had done it, just look at it. Without a doubt, better. Would people have still died of COVID? Yes. As cool as I think I am, and I think I'm really cool, I don't have magic powers. And I couldn't have stopped this. Impossible. Could I have made it better? Yes. 100% sure. I could have made it better. And I say as a leader always, whenever you can make things better, you should. And I'll go one step further. Sometimes you can't make things good. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't even make things better. But sometimes you can make things less bad. And if you're a caring, empathetic leader, when all you can do is make things less bad, you should. You should. And I'm 100% sure we could have made the entire COVID reaction, response, the shutdowns, the economy, all of it less bad. No doubt. I'm 100% sure. And the sad part is, I don't know if we're going to learn anything from this. I'm not sure if we're going to learn anything from this, because all we want to do is cover our derrieres. That's it. Now, Texas is wide open now. We'll see what happens there. And what I think is going to happen is when there is a flare-up, that flare-up is going to be touted in the media like this is the reason. See, without this, oh my God, this is why people are dying. But maybe not. I can hope not. Because I do see New York State also opening up. But there's a bigger issue. It's Brian's issue. The issue that when you walk up to some store or something, there's people lint brushing you, whatever, just doing it, right? The biggest problem I have is even after this is over, the country still believes that the state and the federal government had the right to shut us down in the first place. That's not going away. And that is the bigger issue, because there's going to be another emergency. For those who can't see me, I'm doing air quotes. There's going to be another crisis. Yes, I'm air quoting again. There's going to be another crisis. And when that happens, they're going to shut us down again. They're going to order us again. They're going to tell us when and how we can do whatever we want to do. That hasn't gone away. If that doesn't get better, we're really in trouble. Because remember something, we thought that we all had rights. We could go where we wanted to go, do what we want to do, go to our business, do all those things.
1 minute.
And this year, last year I should say, our government showed that we actually don't have rights. We have privileges. And the government can decide when we get to exercise our privileges. You know what they call, you know who also calls freedoms privileges? Corrections officers in prisons. Yeah, the prisoners get privileges that people can take away or be granted. But if you're a prisoner, you've done something wrong. Well, in theory. How about us? Are we all bad? I don't think so. I think we should all be free. Larry Sharp, free solution. Thank you so much. I will see you all in a couple of days.